Alright, I'm back with you here again. I got another mower repair project I want to share with you. This one is a Toro hand mower, push mower, 22-inch model 20016 recycler. The self-propel won't engage. So let me show you what we got going on this one. Alright, this is the underneath of the mower. This is the transmission here for the self-propel. So you got a bolt here, and where's the other one? Down here. It's two 10mm bolts. There may be a third one on some of these models, but this particular one doesn't have it. So you take those two bolts out, and that black top cover will pop off. So let me do that and show you what it looks like. So once you have that top cover off, this is what you see. You got your belt right here. This is your pulley on the other end. It's covered by this bracket. And this is your traction cable, which we're also going to replace. So what you're going to have to do is you got to take this cover off. So you got three bolts. Now, in some cases, it might be a bolt. These happen to be S2 square drives. So you got to have a square drive socket. I'll show you what that looks like. Don't know how well you can see that, but it's basically a square drive. It's just a square. It's a square-headed bolt. So you need to take those out, and once you do, this top cover will come off. So let me do that and show you what we got going from there. Alright, we got the cover off there. Just kind of take that, flip it to the side. Again, this is your traction cable, which we're also going to replace. You can see your belt's exposed. So all you got to do is just slip it off just like that, and then tip the mower up and get to the underneath, and I'll show you what's going on under there. Okay, once you get here to the underside, you've got a belt guard right here that needs to come off. I already got the bolts loose. It's a 1/2-inch bolt. So just take these bolts out here. There's one. And there's the other one. There you go. Just you don't have to take it all the way out. Just loosen enough to swing this out of the way. And then pull your belt through the top. And then just slip it down and over your blade. And there's your belt. You can see this one's all mangled. And this is the original, actually. So I got a long time out of this. So we're going to stick the new one on. Hold on. Okay, so got the new one here. Real easy. Slide it over your blade. Down over the bottom, back there. And then you got to shove it. This hole right here, this goes back up to the top. Shove it kind of up through that hole. Just like that. Make sure that your belt, your new belt, is around your pulley, and then you just put your belt guard back on, which I can't do with one hand, so let me put this back on. Okay, I got the belt on, I got the belt guard on. One thing, you got to make sure that this belt is routed in this pulley. Let's see if you can see, you got to make sure that it's in there, and you got to make sure that that belt guard is around properly, because if not, you're going to shred this belt when you start it up. So that's how it should look like on, and all we did was run it back up through this hole toward the front. So let's flip it topside and do what we got to do up there. Alright, one thing I did forget to mention is you want to make sure you spin this. Make sure this is free, because if this is locked up, a new belt ain't going to do any good. So check your pulleys, make sure it's free. And all you got to do is just slip this around here like this. So it's on there. Put your cover back on here, and then we'll go ahead and replace this cable. So let me get this on. Alright, this is all buttoned up. Got our cover back on. Now, as you can see, we got a lot of slop in this cable. This cable's just stretched. It's the original, so it needs to be replaced. Because if you go squeeze your handle right now, this isn't going to engage, and your self-propel still isn't going to work. So we need to replace this cable. So I'm going to show you the steps I'm going to take to replace this. Hold on. Your bottom handle is the one for the self-propel. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cable, and I'm just going to pull it out of there, let it flop down. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this nut. I believe this is a 7/16 nut. That is a 7/16 nut, so I got it backed off. I'm just going to take a screwdriver, kind of spread that a little bit, and kind of free it up a little bit. And then you're going to have to take this bolt out. So once the bolt starts to move, You just take the bolt all the way out, and then you can spread that and pop your cable out. Alright, so we got our bolt out, our cable's out of there, and you just pull it down, pull it out of here, and here's the cable, right? So I'm just going to come down here with my wrench. I'm going to come down here. Next thing I'm going to do is it's got these two little wings right here. Let's see if I can see the kind of looks like they're sticking out. You just squeeze them together and then pull back on it, and it'll pop right out of there. That's what we're going to do next. Alright, there's your little wings. You can see them. You just crimp those in, use a pair of needle nose, and then that way you can just slide your cable out to the side, and then you don't have to fumble around with this spring. You can just pop it off just like that. Makes it easy to work with. And there's your old cable. Then to get the new one in, just put it in the opposite. So let me put the new one on, and then I'll show you what's going on from there. So here's the new cable. Got your spring on. Got it clipped in there. Ran it this way. Down. Up through your grommet. Back into the clip. And then you want to leave this loose because you're going to need to adjust this cable. And just hook it back into the handle. And you're ready to go. So then you're going to do is button everything up, make your cable adjustment, and then test it. So you got to put your cover back on, get everything ready to go, and then we'll adjust that cable. So I ran into a bit of a snafu. This is the original belt that came off. You can see it's all boogered up and everything. And this was the belt I originally had on there. And I didn't notice it until I was rewatching the video clip. There was way too much slack in this belt, so I matched it up with that one. This belt was about 1 inch too long. So this belt came directly from Toro, so I ended up looking up online. There's another belt I found at Tractor Supply with a different part number, which matches up to the original. So we're going to throw this one on, make sure this one works right. All right, that looks a little better. I got the mower actually propped up with the handle engaged, so there's tension on this belt, but yeah, definitely looks like we're in business now. So let me put this cover on, we'll give it a try. Okay, we got everything back together, cover's on, new cable, got it adjusted where I wanted it. Now all we gotta do is try her out. So let's try it out and see what goes on. Let's make sure we got her fixed. Alright, we got one last piece of the puzzle for you here, and that is the adjustment on the traction cable on the mower. So let me flip this around, I'll show you the actual cable on the mower. We'll talk a little bit about that, and that'll do it for this video. So let's get into that. Alright, so you see you got two cables here. This is your throttle cable. This one here that's got the black and silver, that's actually your traction cable. Some mowers are a little bit different than others, but basically on a Toro, it's all going to be done the same way. You either have a knob here, or in this case, I've got a nut. You loosen this up, the mower has to be off, and if you want to increase or decrease traction, you slide this cable one way or the other. And all that really means is that you're going to adjust how hard the mower pulls. So, if you want to increase the traction, you loosen this nut, you take the whole cable, and you pull it down toward the engine. If you want to decrease the pull, you loosen this nut, and you take the whole cable, and you slide it up that way towards your handle. Now, what I would recommend is just kind of when you first put the cable on, put it in the middle, and then just kind of play with it from there in small little bits. You know what I mean? Don't go full bore one way or the other, because, you know, it's just makes life easier. So start in the middle and work your way from there. You know, it's funny that I went through all that trouble for to get that mower fixed, because this little piece right here is the only thing I use that mower for. I gotta love it. So anyway, it is what it is. Hope you found this video useful if you're trying to work on a Toro. Honestly, a lot of the stuff in this video is useful for a lot of different kind of mowers. A lot of the principles are the same. So, but anyway, I hope this helps somebody out. So feel free to share it out if you need to. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I appreciate you watching. So until next time, everybody be good, be smart, be safe, and I will see you down the road later on.